Greg Norman walked onto the first tee at the 1996 Masters with a 6-shot lead. 6 shots in a major championship, with 18 holes standing between him and the green jacket that had haunted his whole career. By the time he walked off the 18th green that afternoon, this round would become the textbook example golf still uses for how fast a lead can disappear. And the wild part is, it didn't fall apart all at once. It came apart one hole at a time, in front of everybody with nowhere to hide. Norman was the best player in the world for long stretches of his career, and Augusta National was the one major that kept slipping through his hands. Sunday, 1996 was supposed to be the day that changed. 6 shots clear of Nick Faldo, a 3-time Masters champion who knew exactly what it took to close one out. Everyone watching figured this was finally it. Norman had built that lead over 3 full rounds. This wasn't some fluke Saturday charge that got him there. He'd earned every bit of that cushion, which is exactly what made the next few hours so hard to make sense of. Then the first hole happened, a bogey. Not the start anyone expected, but not fatal either, not with a 6-shot cushion still sitting there. The gallery could still tell themselves it was just early jitters. Then another bogey at the 4th, and the murmurs started getting louder. Then a third at the 9th, and by now it wasn't just nerves anymore, it was a pattern. Faldo, meanwhile, was playing calm, steady golf right alongside him, picking up shots while Norman gave them back one at a time, hole after hole, like the lead was evaporating in real time in front of a live television audience. By the turn, that 6-shot lead everyone thought was safe had shrunk all the way down to 2. 2 shots, with 9 of the hardest holes in golf still ahead of him, and Faldo now close enough to feel it. We're just getting to the part where this really comes apart, so if collapses like this get under your skin the same way they get us, go ahead and hit follow now before we head to the back 9, because it only gets heavier from here. The back 9 at Augusta doesn't forgive mistakes, and Norman's game was already cracking before he even got there. He 3-putted the 11th, a hole that's quietly ended more Masters dreams than people give it credit for. Then came the 12th, the shortest, most dangerous hole on the entire back 9, the heart of Amen Corner, guarded by water and nerves in equal measure. It's a hole where the smart play is often just to survive it, not attack it. Norman attacked it and found the water instead. Double bogey. The 2-shot cushion he'd been clinging to was gone in an instant. And now, for the first time all day, he wasn't leading anymore. Faldo was. And it didn't stop there. At the 16th, another hole with water lurking right in front of the green, Norman found it again. Another double bogey. By this point, it wasn't really a golf tournament anymore. It was just excruciating to watch. A great champion completely unraveling in real time while the guy next to him played like it was any other Sunday. Patrons lining the fairways went quiet in that specific way. A crowd goes quiet when everyone in it realizes they're watching something go wrong, not something go right. Faldo shot a 67 that day. Norman shot a 78. Same golf course, same weather, same pressure, and an 11-shot swing between the 2 scorecards in a single round. Faldo won by 5. It's still considered the largest 54-hole lead ever lost in Masters history, and 30 years later nobody's come close to matching it. Norman didn't hide from it afterward either, which says something about the guy even in the worst moment of his career. Reporters crowded around him in the interview room expecting deflection, or at least some kind of excuse. They didn't get one. He told reporters, "I just didn't get the job done." No excuses, no blaming the course or the pressure or bad luck. Just a flat, honest admission that the day belonged to someone else. He added, "Nick played great and I played poor," which is about as simple a summary of an 11-shot swing as you're ever going to hear from the guy who lived through it. And Faldo, for his part, didn't gloat either. Winning his 3rd green jacket, his 6th major overall, he still turned to Norman and said, "I do feel sorry for Greg." That's not something you usually hear from the guy standing in the winner's circle. It's the kind of line that only makes sense if you actually watch the round happen, hole by hole, and understood exactly what you'd just witnessed unravel next to you. Nobody who saw it happen live walked away feeling like they just watched a normal round of golf. If you've ever wondered why sports science people still study this exact round decades later, you're not alone. ESPN went back years afterward and broke down what was actually happening to Norman mentally, hole by hole, trying to explain how a player that good could lose that much that fast. in full view of everyone, with no way to slow the bleeding once it started. That's a rare thing in sports coverage. A collapse getting studied like a case file years after the fact instead of just being remembered as a bad day. It tells you how unusual this round really was, even by the standards of a game that's produced plenty of final round meltdowns before and since. Stick around because we've still got the part where we ask the question nobody's ever really answered about that day. And if breakdowns like this are the kind of thing you want to keep seeing, now's a good time to subscribe so the next one lands in front of you. Here's what still doesn't have a clean answer, even now. Was this really about the golf swing at all? Or was it something that just happened between Norman's ears the moment Faldo started closing the gap? He was still one of the most technically gifted ball strikers of his generation. The mechanics didn't suddenly disappear for one afternoon. Something else took over, and whatever that something was, it's the same thing every golfer who's ever choked a lead recognizes on some level, just usually not on this stage, in front of this many people with a green jacket sitting right there waiting. Norman never did win the Masters. Not that year, not any year after it. This was his best real chance, arguably his only real chance, and it's the round he's remembered for instead of any of the majors he actually did win. That's the part that makes this one different from just another bad final round. It wasn't just a loss. It was the loss, the one his whole career kept getting measured against afterward, whether that was fair to him or not. And that's really why this one still gets brought up anytime golf commentators need a reference point for a collapse. It's not just that Norman lost. Plenty of great players have lost major championships. It's that he lost from 6 shots up on the sport's biggest stage in a way that unfolded slowly enough for every single viewer to see it happening hole by hole, and never once tried to explain it away afterward. So if you're wondering what's really going through a player's head when a lead like that starts slipping hole by hole, we're going to keep digging into moments exactly like this one. So subscribe now so you don't miss the next collapse we break down.